Cavalry charging in Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga, is something that isn't even mentioned in the game, other than seeing it in the tech tree and having to go and research it yourself through the tutorial pages. It's more of the same with what happened with the thieves, where they're giving you a tiny bit of information, a couple lines of dialogue just to kind of tease you and force you to go look for it. But they aren't showing you or letting you learn any of the information to actually use. This also has to do with show and don't tell, but this is something that is going to be a lot easier to change and a lot easier and quicker to be to have a fix. And this is kind of going to be just a pretty quick video.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
In the tech tree, there's a talent that decreases the distance needed for a cavalry charge to happen, from 7 squares to 6 squares. That is honestly the only time I know of where you are told about the charging mechanic. There's no tutorial, or even a section where Barnabas yells charge and a pop-up says running at a unit this many squares away will start a charge. There's no feedback in the game when you're moving your cavalry units to indicate what is charge distance, or that you can even charge, or if your unit will even move how you want them to move to get a charge. There's a simple way to change this and add more feedback so the player can tell what's chargeable and what's too close or too far. If you use different colored squares for different ranges, where blue would indicate too close for a charge, green would indicate the right distance for a charge, and the red squares would be attack range, because I think that's what it currently is in the game. This would give players enough feedback to know exactly how far they needed to move for a charge, and if they can get a charge from where their cavalry squads are. Like I said in the last video about the thieves, this isn't about hand-holding through the whole game. This is about information accessibility and keeping players within flow. If you have studied any game design theory or anything, you'll know what flow is. Flow is basically, is the game too hard and people are getting frustrated, or is it too easy and people are not being challenged enough? And it's finding the middle ground there. And if you keep going and if you have to go to the menu multiple times to figure out like how to use this certain mechanic within the game because it wasn't explained to you and you just remember reading it or hearing it like once or twice and you don't know if it's the right time to use this mechanic and you have to go through 3 to 5 menus to find this needed information, it's going to rip the player out of the flow of the game. It's going to be hard for them to get back into it because they might have to keep going back to the menu to figure out all of these other things. The main drawback and thing holding this game back is the amount of feedback and information that is given to the player. It's not enough. It's lacking meaningful feedback, even though the gameplay is fun and it's an enjoyable strategy game. The meaningful feedback that players need to determine their course of action is not always there. All right, before we start going into like more game design theory or anything, I'm going to end this video. I hope you guys like this video. I am planning out next week's videos already, and it's going to be another 2 Symphony of War videos. So stay tuned for more Symphony of War next week. Then we'll probably go into another indie game. I don't know which, but we'll go into another one. So I hope you guys stay tuned for all of that and that you have a royal day.